Jamaica has decriminalized possession of marijuana up to 2 ounces and Belize up to 10 ounces. What does this mean for the Bahamas? Well, our Lissy Bastian tells us more.
With everyone seemingly taking a position on the decriminalization of marijuana on the eve of a CARICOM Regional Commission on Marijuana town meeting, the government's representative with the commission, Bishop Simeon Hall, explained the purpose of CARICOM's region-wide consultation efforts.
CARICOM community, they had agreed that some research should be done on this matter, pro and con. It isn't that anyone has taken a position on it. They're just studying it. How do Caribbean people feel about this widespread usage of this herb? We've been to Suriname, we've been to Trinidad, we've been to Barbados, we've been to, I think there are 8 in all that we've been to. What the CARICOM heads have agreed on to study how do Caribbean people feel about this herb that grows on almost every Caribbean island nation.
Bishop Hall, in speaking with our news team, said, however, the government's position on the herb remains the same. He did say that once the study is complete, he hopes for intelligent conversation on the issue.
The Bahamas position is clear. The use of marijuana on any level is illegal. All I've been calling for is an intelligent conversation. I hope that's what we could achieve tomorrow when we meet. I can't take a position that's ultra-vires what the Bahamas position is. But when the report is finished, all I would suggest is that we have an intelligent conversation where we look at all the ramifications, all the legalities, and just move forward.
With that said, Democratic National Alliance interim leader Christopher Mortimer said that the government should take a position on the issue and not take a backseat approach to the issue, but rather do the necessary legwork to ensure the will of the people is done.
What we're saying to the government, they have not taken a position. I know prior to becoming the Minister of Health, Dr. Dwayne Sands had a position where he thought that marijuana should be decriminalized. Now in government, he's saying that they don't have a position. The fact of the matter is, what we're encouraging the government to do is to formulate a strategy moving forward with respect to this particular issue and allow the Bahamian people to weigh in on what they believe should happen once they've had an opportunity to see what all of the facts are. And it is our hope that the Bahamas government doesn't do what they've always done with respect to aggressive legislation, is to wait until the end and then allow every other country around the world to determine what the Bahamas is going to do, as opposed to the Bahamas deciding for itself what it is going to do.
Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Senator Fred Mitchell said in a press statement that the PLP believes in informed choices and is interested in saving Bahamians from the stigmatization of their lives as a result of the use of marijuana, particularly young men, and the possible medicinal use of the plant. The Regional Commission on Marijuana through CARICOM will hold a town meeting tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the Holy Trinity Activity Center. For JCN News, I'm Lissy Bastian.
Since being suggested by a UN rapporteur back in December, the issue of having a marital rape law has snowballed into a large controversial discussion. Last month, Social Services Minister Lanisha Roll said that before policies on that issue can be made, a public discourse must happen. While callers into the Love 97 show Issues of the Day have presented a split view on the issue.
My wife and I, we are one, but I respect her individuality, and I think that's the way it should be. A man, not because you say you and your wife are one, that means you can hop on and hop off when you feel like. It doesn't work that way. She's a person, she has feelings, and therefore you should respect her feelings. I think that's the way it should work.
This need to be left alone. God, moral law need to be left alone. The husband and the wife need to sort out the situation inside their home. I don't think they need to pass a law and get involved in God's moral law. That is not nice, and we say we're a Christian nation.
The only time there should be a problem sexually in a marriage is you all agree to fast and pray, or your wife is sick or something wrong with her. But other than beyond that, what other reason you could be given to say you don't want to have sex?
Appearing on the Love 97 show today was pastor of Kingdom Life Church, Cedric Moss. Pastor Moss is pushing for a marital rape law and said he's come out to give his view because he feels the current discussion should be added to the previous in order to have a proper discourse. Responding to claims that a marital rape law could possibly be abused, Pastor Moss said that it holds no bearing on if it should be implemented.
Every law is open to abuse, so women can do that. But you don't throw away a good law simply because there's the possibility that it can be abused. So I think we have to look at it in terms of this does happen, and regrettably, the only cases that will find themselves before the court will be those that can be corroborated with some evidence.
Pastor Moss admits that it's a complicated issue, but he feels that there must be a law in place that protects women in these circumstances.
I have to acknowledge that there are complex aspects to it, but there's also a simple aspect to it. And I think we need to deal with the very plain reality of forced sexual intercourse in marriage and seek to criminalize that. And we have to try to make provisions as best we can to cover for those kinds of dubious circumstances where something can be seen to be what it may not be.
In 2009, the then Ingram-led administration proposed various amendments to the law to provide for a marital rape law, but they were rejected. Immigration has undergone a change in leadership, but it's not sitting well with former Immigration Minister Fred Mitchell. Mitchell condemned the recent transaction of leadership at the Department of Immigration and said that he is concerned about the manner in which the transition from former Director William Pratt to its now new Director Clarence Russell happened. In a press statement, the PLP senator compared and contrasted what was done for Commissioner of Police during that transition and stated that he knew where he was going and was treated to a public ceremony of handover and thanks from the government. Mr. Mitchell, however, decried the fact that the same was not done for Mr. Pratt, but instead the Prime Minister quoted, "damned him with a faint praise," end quote. In his statement, Mr. Mitchell further went on to say that in doing so, the Prime Minister cast aspirations on Mr. Pratt and his tenure, while at the same time putting unrealistic expectations on the new director, Mr. Russell. Mitchell went on to thank the outgoing director for his services to the department and country and for executing policies without fear and favor. At the same time, he welcomed Mr. Russell as head of the department, all on behalf of the Progressive Liberal Party. Now, immigration officers seem to be beefing up their efforts for rounding up all illegal migrants. Photos from social media show immigration officers driving incognito, ditching their traditional yellow buses. While we were not able to reach immigration officials, reports reaching our news desk say the bus was spotted at homes along Charles Saunders Drive and Seabreeze Lane around 10 this morning. Immigration Minister just Tuesday said that all businesses harboring illegals have until tomorrow, that's Friday, to send them home. You're watching JCN News. There's more straight ahead.
This segment of the news was brought to you by Alive.